Here is your complete storytelling video script. Have you ever watched someone lose everything they worked for, only to come back stronger than anyone imagined? What if a single dad, struggling to keep a tiny garage business alive, had his dreams crushed by a powerful CEO, and just 21 days later, found himself holding the keys to her entire factory? Stay with me, because this story proves that kindness, humility, and perseverance can change a life in ways no one expects. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Welcome to Kindness Paradise, where every story reminds us that kindness is one of the greatest powers in the world. Michael Turner was a single father living in a small town in Ohio. Every morning, he woke up before sunrise, prepared breakfast for his 8-year-old daughter Emma, and then headed to the small garage he rented on the edge of town. The garage wasn't much to look at. The paint was peeling, the roof leaked when it rained, and the equipment was old. But Michael loved the place because it represented hope. After losing his wife to illness 3 years earlier, he had promised himself that he would give Emma a better future. His small workshop repaired industrial machines for local businesses. It wasn't making him rich, but it paid the bills and kept food on the table. Most customers respected Michael because he was honest and hardworking. He never charged people for repairs they didn't need. If a customer was struggling financially, he often reduced the bill without saying a word. His kindness earned him trust throughout the community. One morning, a black luxury car stopped outside the garage. A woman stepped out wearing an expensive business suit. Her name was Victoria Hayes, the CEO of Hayes Manufacturing, one of the largest factories in the region. Michael recognized her immediately. Victoria looked around the garage with obvious disappointment. "So this is the place," she said. Michael smiled politely. "Yes, How can I help you?" Victoria explained that one of her factory machines had broken down. Michael inspected the problem and offered a solution that would cost far less than replacing the equipment. But Victoria barely listened. Instead, she informed Michael that Hayes Manufacturing had recently purchased the entire industrial property, including the building where his garage was located. Michael's heart sank. "What does that mean?" he asked quietly. "It means your lease is terminated," Victoria replied coldly. "You'll need to vacate within 7 days." Michael stared at her. 7 days. His entire business depended on that garage. "There must be some mistake," he said. "There isn't." Without another word, Victoria got back into her car and drove away. That evening, Michael sat alone after Emma went to bed. For the first time in years, he felt defeated. How could he relocate his business in only 7 days? How would he support his daughter? The next morning, however, he made a decision. Instead of wasting energy being angry, he would focus on helping others and finding solutions. Over the following week, Michael packed his equipment while continuing to serve customers. His friends offered support. Local business owners shared encouraging words. Many people admired how calm and respectful he remained despite losing everything. One afternoon, an elderly mechanic named Frank visited the garage. "I heard what happened," Frank said. Michael nodded. Frank smiled. "You've spent years helping everyone else. Maybe it's time people helped you." Within days, members of the community came together. Someone offered temporary storage. Another business owner lent workspace. Several customers prepaid future repair jobs to help Michael stay afloat. Their kindness gave him strength. Meanwhile, trouble was growing inside Hayes Manufacturing. Victoria had spent years focusing only on profits. Employees felt ignored. Suppliers were unhappy. Customers complained about declining quality. But Victoria dismissed every warning. Then disaster struck. A major overseas contract was cancelled. The company lost millions of dollars overnight. Banks became nervous. Investors started pulling out. Within 2 weeks, Hayes Manufacturing was facing financial collapse. Victoria worked day and night trying to save the company, but the problems were too large. One evening she received shocking news. The factory's primary lender was preparing to seize company assets. Victoria felt panic for the first time. Everything she had built was falling apart. At the same time, Michael was experiencing an unexpected opportunity. Months earlier, he had quietly helped a small engineering startup repair damaged equipment. Instead of charging full price, he had accepted a small ownership stake because the founders couldn't afford payment. At the time, many people thought he was foolish. But that startup had recently developed a groundbreaking technology. A larger corporation purchased the company for an enormous amount of money. Suddenly, Michael's small ownership share became worth millions. The single dad who had struggled to pay rent was now financially secure. Yet money didn't change him. He continued helping customers and supporting the people around him. Then he learned that Hayes Manufacturing was being auctioned. Most buyers wanted to shut the factory down and sell the equipment. Thousands of workers could lose their jobs. Michael thought about the families depending on those paychecks. He thought about the community. And he made a surprising decision. Using his new resources and partnering with investors, he submitted an offer. 3 weeks after losing his garage lease, Michael Turner became the owner of Hayes Manufacturing. Exactly 21 days after Victoria had forced him out. News spread quickly across town. Employees celebrated because their jobs had been saved. Suppliers breathed a sigh of relief. The community couldn't believe the incredible turn of events. A few days later, Victoria requested a meeting. She entered Michael's office looking exhausted. For a moment, neither person spoke. Finally, Victoria lowered her eyes. "I treated you unfairly," she said quietly. "I was arrogant. I thought power made me important." Michael listened carefully. "I understand," he replied. Victoria looked surprised. "You're not angry." Michael smiled gently. "Being angry won't improve the future." Tears filled Victoria's eyes. For the first time in years, someone had responded to her mistakes with kindness instead of revenge. Then Michael did something nobody expected. He offered Victoria a consulting position. Not because she deserved special treatment. Not because he forgot what happened. But because he believed people could learn and change. Victoria accepted. Over time, she worked hard to rebuild trust with employees and the community. Under Michael's leadership, the company flourished. He treated workers with respect. He listened to their ideas. He invested in safer equipment and better working conditions. Profits improved, but more importantly, people felt valued. Years later, employees still talked about the day kindness changed everything. The day a struggling single dad chose compassion over revenge. The day a community support transformed one man's life. And the day a former CEO learned that true success isn't measured by power or money. It's measured by how you treat people. So remember this story whenever life feels unfair. You may not control what others do. You may not control every challenge that comes your way. But you can always choose kindness. Because kindness has a way of returning when we least expect it. And sometimes, the people who seem powerless today become the ones who change the world tomorrow. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Until next time, keep spreading kindness, keep believing in people, and remember that even the smallest act of compassion can create a future brighter than you ever imagined. Here's a different emotional ending paragraph you can use for the same story. As the years passed, people no longer remembered Michael as the single dad who lost his garage. They remembered him as the man who saved hundreds of jobs when he had every reason to walk away. They remembered the kindness he showed when revenge would have been easier. And Victoria never forgot the lesson he taught her, that success without compassion is empty, but kindness can rebuild what pride destroys. So the next time someone hurts you, remember Michael's story. The world changes not through anger, but through grace. One act of kindness can open doors that money, power, and influence never could. And sometimes, the greatest victory isn't proving others wrong. It's proving that a kind heart can rise above every challenge. Thank you for spending this time with us on Kindness Paradise. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs hope today. Until next time, keep choosing kindness, because every small act of goodness has the power to change a life forever.